As a kid, I had a couple of options to keep myself entertained after, or rather, let's be honest, more frequently, instead of studying. The first one of those was to go outside like some sort of wild child and kick a ball around or something along those lines until inevitably neighborhood bullies would show up and wail on me. Or the much better option to sit myself down in front of a screen. Unsurprisingly, I ended up becoming more of an indoor type of guy. This is what led me to watching VODs or videos on demand whenever I had any amount of downtime, really. Instead of following whatever viral video, however, or cool new meme was going on, I was the type of guy who would rather just sit down and watch a couple of ongoing series and playthroughs from a few consistent YouTubers. And this is what ended up occupying a large chunk of my childhood. Now, well, I still do this whole watching VODs thing around the time I was 16 or so. That would be around the year 2013. I discovered what was basically the holy grail of time wasters. Now, that was watching live streams on Twitch TV or, at the time, Justin TV. I got all the same kind of content, which was generally some guy making mediocre jokes in the background to some pretty average gameplay footage, but with one revolutionary new advancement. I, as well as thousands of other people around the world, could simultaneously say mean things to the content producer. I was like skipping the line in the movie theaters if the movie theaters were mean YouTube comments instead. Now, obviously, this is a joke in terms of the content of what was being said in these online interactions, but the method of communication was genuinely impressive to me. The two-way communication, specifically between the person on the other side of the screen and you. And I don't mean this in the same way as if you were to make a video call on Skype with someone you know, but with someone rather who goes out of their way to be an entertainer. It was like interacting with a celebrity, or at the very least, an internet celebrity. In this way, it potentially influences the content that I produced, and it makes me feel like I am both part of their experience as much as they are part of my experience. Now, I find this all to be relevant, specifically for the reason that the two-way communication between the viewer and the creator, as well as between viewers and each other, allows for a social sphere to form. I would believe that this fills the requirements to consider live streaming technology to be a social media itself, because of its ability to facilitate the creation of communities online. If you drop into any Twitch chat for long enough, I'm certain that you'll find them spamming a meme that's an in-joke or something to their community. The example of Twitch and its chat specifically, perhaps you could consider so somewhat of a limited perspective, however, as the platform is targeted to gamers, and thus the content it produces will be somewhat exclusive to gamers and their interests. Livestream video now, however, is making its way onto more mainstream platforms like Facebook with its live video. This technically gives everybody the ability to live stream day-to-day activities, but frankly it's used more by corporations and celebrities for promotion in the same sort of way that Twitter sort of functions primarily as an echo chamber for news and media outlets. Their live streaming function requires a fair amount of setup, and even still can result in blunders even on parts of those who are genuinely more prepared. For example, there is a number of CBC's archived Facebook Live videos in which audio issues are making several segments completely inaudible. There, however, are still noteworthy instances in which livestream video was used to great effect, for better or for worse. So, let's start first with then the bad news. So one of the significant instances, rather, of livestream video being used, which drew quite a bit of attention at the time at least, was earlier this year in April, where Cleveland murderer Steve Stevens posted a live streamed video of him murdering someone on Facebook Live's platform. Having killed himself before being apprehended, however, we don't know his motives for killing a 74-year-old man seemingly at random on Easter. And it's kind of hard to tell whether, at least for certain, the live streaming technology had any influence on the outcome. On the other hand, however, one of my readings, Thorburn cites the example of Concordia University's community TV station as a successful implementation of live streaming technology. Their broadcast team's ability to be in the midst of political demonstrations, not only as reporters, but also as peers, gives a different perspective and, more importantly, self-representation to demonstrators. The idea here is that, unlike mainstream media, which can mediate their content much more easily, the live stream video has a minimal amount of mediation and provides supposedly an objective lens of what's happening. In this sense, the technology democratizes the flow of information as presented by news media in the same way that a selfie democratizes the portrait. It allows for a much larger number of people to have some control over their portrayal, just like management of their appearances on social media.